For over a century, the main battle tank reigned supreme as the undisputed king of ground combat. From the plains of Kursk to the deserts of Iraq, heavy armor was the ultimate instrument of breakthrough and shock action. But on the modern, brutally transparent battlefields of Ukraine, that century-old paradigm has been violently shattered. Pervasive aerial surveillance, AI-driven precision artillery, and most devastatingly, a relentless swarm of cheap, mass-produced first-person view, or FPV attack drones, have turned these multi-million-dollar behemoths into high-visibility targets. We have all seen the footage of $500 loitering munition bypassing layers of composite armor to strike a critical vulnerability, turning an iron giant into a catastrophic fireball. Militaries worldwide began writing the tank's obituary. Critics claimed heavy armor had become a historical relic, an expensive liability in the age of autonomous warfare, but the United States Army disagrees. Instead of abandoning the platform, the Pentagon has quietly unveiled a radical, top-down redesign engineered to restore the tank's absolute supremacy on the battlefields of tomorrow. This is the inside story of the Abrams M1E3, Washington's unkillable answer to the drone revolution, and a weapon system that has every rival military on Earth desperate to decode its secrets. To understand why the M1E3 is such a drastic departure, we must look at the evolution of its predecessor. Since its introduction in 1980, the M1 Abrams has been the backbone of American armored warfare. Through decades of incremental upgrades culminating in the recent M1A2SE PV3, the U.S. Army continually bolted on more technology to counter emerging threats. They added the Israeli-designed Trophy Active Protection System, advanced turret stabilization, massive computer suites, and denser depleted uranium armor packages. But this evolutionary path hit a hard physical wall. Every new system added dead weight. The fully combat-loaded M1A2SE PV3 tipped the scales at an astonishing 73.6 short tons, with some fully kitted configurations pushing past 78 tons. In the dry, arid conditions of the Middle East, this mass was manageable. But in the soft, saturated mud of Eastern Europe, or the austere island environments of the Indo-Pacific, these ultra-heavy platforms face a logistical nightmare. They easily bog down in marginal terrain, and they exceed the weight limits of the vast majority of civilian bridges in Europe and Asia without heavy engineering support. Western contemporaries face the exact same crisis. The British Challenger 3 and Turkish Altay weigh 73 and 72 tons, respectively. Germany's Leopard 2A7 Plus hovers around 67 tons. Meanwhile, next-generation Eastern designs have intentionally stayed leaner. The South Korean K2 Black Panther operates at a highly mobile 55 tons, while the Chinese Type 99A caps out at 57 tons. The U.S. Army realized that in a near-peer conflict, mass can become the enemy of mobility. Heavier doesn't always mean better. Therefore, the core directive for the M1E3 was simple yet incredibly difficult: cut the weight by over 20% down to a nimble 60 tons without sacrificing an ounce of lethality or crew survivability. Achieving this radical 14-ton weight reduction required American engineers to strip the tank down to its fundamental DNA. The first major casualty of this redesign was the traditional Honeywell AGT-1500 gas turbine engine. While legendary for its multi-fuel capability and jet-like acceleration, it was an absolute gas guzzler, placing immense strain on military supply lines. In modern large-scale combat operations, fuel convoys are low-hanging fruit for enemy loitering munitions. The M1E3 resolves this with a cutting-edge hybrid propulsion system. At its heart is a modified Caterpillar C13D inline six-cylinder diesel engine generating 1,100 horsepower. This internal combustion engine is seamlessly paired with a specialized SAPA transmission that integrates a high-torque 250 horsepower electric motor. This hybrid architecture yields several transformative tactical advantages. First, it delivers a massive 40 to 50% improvement in fuel efficiency, significantly extending the tank's operational range and drastically reducing the logistical footprint required to keep an armored brigade moving. Second, it introduces a silent watch and silent mobility capability. The M1E3 can operate its advanced sensor suites, electronic warfare systems, and even navigate short distances purely on electric battery power. By shutting down the primary diesel engine, the tank effectively erases its thermal and acoustic signatures, allowing it to lie in ambush or reposition without alerting enemy thermal optics or acoustic sensors. Complementing this powertrain is a brand new ultra-lightweight track system developed by American Rheinmetall, married to an advanced hydro-pneumatic suspension system from the Horstmann Group. This suspension allows the crew to dynamically raise, lower, or tilt the tank's hull. Not only does this optimize the vehicle's silhouette behind terrain features, but it also improves cross-country speed and absorbs high-velocity impacts far more effectively than traditional torsion bars. If you think a lighter weight implies a compromise in offensive capability, think again. The M1E3 dramatically expands American firepower by shifting to a highly automated dual turret philosophy. For decades, Western doctrine resisted the implementation of automatic loaders, preferring a human fourth crew member to manually slam rounds into the breech. But the M1E3 embraces a highly advanced autoloader system paired with a completely redesigned low-profile automated turret. The primary armament remains the devastating 120mm M256 smoothbore gun, capable of firing advanced smart munitions like the M1147 advanced multi-purpose round. However, because the turret is automated and uncrewed, the interior layout changes completely. The old four-man configuration is reduced to three: a commander, a gunner, and a driver, but the true innovation sits atop the main chassis. Supplementing the 120mm main gun is a secondary, fully independent remote weapon station, carrying a 30mm Northrop Grumman M230LF automatic cannon. This creates a dual-tier engagement system. While the main gun focuses on traditional, high-value armored threats, fortifications, and enemy vehicles, the secondary 30mm cannon acts as a dedicated rapid response shield against incoming FPV drones and loitering munitions. This counter-UAS capability is further augmented by a stabilized Leonardo DRS sight system, utilizing a matrix of electro-optical and infrared cameras to automatically detect track and cue weapons, onto low-altitude aerial threats. Early configurations also show integration rooms for a Javelin anti-tank guided missile launcher and specialized launch tubes for organic reconnaissance drones, allowing the tank crew to scout over the horizon before exposing their position. The Iron Fist, weighing a fraction of the size, utilizes a precision-guided miniature kinetic interceptor. It launches outward and physically collides with or detonates directly next to the threat at a much safer extended standoff distance of up to 164 feet. Furthermore, while Trophy was primarily optimized against slower-moving RPGs and anti-tank guided missiles, the Iron Fist's rapid engagement radar and sharp interception angles make it uniquely capable of disrupting high-velocity kinetic energy tank rounds and steep top-attack suicide drones. Crucially, because the autoloader eliminates the human loader, the remaining 3 crew members are no longer scattered throughout the turret and hull. Instead, they are sealed together inside a heavily armored, isolated titanium capsule located deep within the forward hull. This capsule completely separates the human operators from the main gun ammunition storage and the hybrid power pack. Even if an enemy projectile manages to defeat the active protection systems and penetrate the hull, triggering a catastrophic ammunition cook-off, the explosion will vent outward through integrated blowout panels, leaving the crew inside their armored capsule completely unharmed. In stark contrast to Soviet legacy carousel autoloaders that frequently throw their turrets into the sky, the M1E3 reduces the risk of crew casualties to nearly absolute zero. To top it all off, the interface for this next-generation war machine looks less like an old Cold War control panel and more like a modern command center. The U.S. Army has integrated commercial off-the-shelf gaming controller architectures into the crew stations. By utilizing control configurations that are second nature to a generation raised on digital systems, the military has dramatically compressed training timelines, allowing operators to master complex turret functions in a fraction of the time of fighting and winning in the brutal reality of the 21st century. Whether this unkillable design will maintain its absolute supremacy when production models hit the dirt remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the race for the future of mechanized warfare has officially begun. Thank you for watching this deep dive. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on global military innovation, electronic warfare breakthroughs, and tactical analytics, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you on the next battlefield.